The email from my mother landed at 6:47 a.m. on a Wednesday. Subject: Reality check. Marcus, your father and I have been patient for 8 years. 8 years of watching you waste your Stanford education on this startup fantasy. Your sister Amanda has a real job, benefits, stability, a 401k, she just bought a house. What do you have? An apartment you share with roommates and a business that still hasn't made a profit. It's time to grow up. Dad knows someone at Cisco. They're hiring. $140,000 starting. Please, just once, make a smart decision. Mom. I read it twice. Deleted it. Went back to work. I'd stopped defending myself 3 years earlier. Stopped trying to explain what Data Stream AI actually did. Stopped attending family dinners that always ended the same way, with sympathetic looks and helpful suggestions about real careers. My phone buzzed. Amanda. Did you see Mom's email? Yeah. She means well, Marcus, she's just worried. I know. A pause, then, carefully, are you okay financially? I glanced around my office, 19th floor, downtown San Francisco, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Bay Bridge, our logo etched into the glass by the elevator. 127 employees. Last quarter's revenue, $67 million. I'm doing fine, I said. Because if you need money. I don't need money, Amanda. Okay, just checking. Love you. Love you too. I ended the call and stared at my laptop. The Salesforce tower reflected the morning sun. My reflection looked tired. I was 34 years old. I'd spent 8 years building something that was about to redefine enterprise data analytics, and my family was convinced I was failing. The irony was almost funny. Almost. It started when I was 26, fresh out of Stanford with a master's in computer science. Google, Facebook, Amazon, all came calling, offers between $165,000 and $195,000, stock options, catered meals, shiny campuses. I turned every one of them down. My Stanford roommate, Dev Sharma, had an idea, using machine learning to predict data bottlenecks before they took systems down. It sounded boring, unflashy, unsexy. It was also brilliant. We started Data Stream AI in Dev's garage in Palo Alto. Salary, $0. Funding, $30,000 we'd scraped together. Staff, 2 laptops and blind faith. My parents were horrified. You're walking away from Google? My father asked at Sunday dinner. 41 years at Lockheed Martin, 1 company, 1 pension, stability incarnate. To build a company, I said. What kind of company? Predictive data analytics, machine learning for enterprise systems. Silence. Mom finally spoke. What does that mean in English? We stop companies' systems from crashing, and they'll pay us for it. Dad shook his head. 90% of startups fail in the first year. You're trading a guaranteed 6-figure job to become a statistic. Maybe, I said, but if it works. If, Mom cut in, Amanda did it right. Deloitte, health insurance, retirement, she's saving for a house, that's success. Amanda shifted uncomfortably across the table. I'm sure Marcus knows what he's doing. Mom turned to me. Do you even have health insurance? Not yet. What happens if you get sick? If this thing collapses? Then I'll get a job, I said. Engineers don't exactly struggle. It wasn't enough. It never was. Nothing mattered unless it followed Amanda's path. Safe, stable, approved. I left early that night. I started leaving early every time. Year 1 was survival, ramen and caffeine. We built our first prototype in 4 months, software that could predict system failures up to 6 hours before they happened. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Month 7, we landed our first client, a mid-sized e-commerce company tired of crashing during sales, $5,000 a month. 3 months later, they doubled it, asked us to handle payment processing too. We hired our first employee, then another. At Thanksgiving, Dad asked, "So, are you making money yet?" "We're covering expenses." Revenue, $45,000. Expenses, $44,000. Profit, $1,000. "That's not making money," he said, "that's breaking even." "It's progress." Amanda got promoted. Mom added, "Senior consultant, $95,000, condo next month." "That's great," I said, and I meant it. "When will you buy a house?" She asked. When I'm ready. You're 27, your sister bought at 26. I stopped going to Thanksgiving after that. Year 2 brought validation, a $3 million venture round, 15 new hires, real office space, data stream AI 2.0, predicting failures 48 hours in advance, clients multiplied, revenue hit $2.4 million. At Christmas, I tried one last time. We raised $3 million in funding. That's not your money, Dad said. What are you making? $75,000. Mom frowned. Amanda makes $115 plus bonus. She's doing great. She's younger than you and ahead, Dad said. Do you see the problem? I did. Just not the one they meant. Years passed. Series B, Series C, Fortune 500 contracts. Our system prevented dozens of failures per client each year, saving millions. But I stopped sharing any of it. Every conversation ended the same way. When will you get a real job? This is a real job. I mean a stable one. I was renting a one-bedroom in the Mission for $3,200 a month. I could have bought a house, or 3. Instead, I reinvested everything, because what we were building mattered. Our clients saw it. The market saw it. My parents didn't. They just wanted a 401k match and a recognizable logo on my business card. So I stopped telling them anything. I had a company worth nearly $900 million. But I said, I have a job I believe in. She looked at me with pity. I left early. The invitation arrived in January. Bay Area Business Excellence Awards, annual gala honoring outstanding companies and entrepreneurs in the region. Black tie, 400 guests, dinner and ceremony. My assistant forwarded it to me an hour later. You've been nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year, she said. The ceremony's February 14th. Who else is nominated? She glanced at her tablet. A biotech CEO, a clean energy founder, and 2 fintech executives. Do we know who's winning? It's confidential, she smiled, but I like our odds. So did I. We'd had a phenomenal year, the AWS contract, international expansion, revenue numbers that made venture capitalists lose their composure. Still, winning wasn't the point. I'd stopped needing validation a long time ago. But recognition wouldn't hurt. Confirm attendance, I said, +1, I'll bring Dev. She nodded and left. I looked back at the invitation. Venue, the Fairmont Hotel, Grand Ballroom. Catering provided by. I froze. Elite Events Catering. My mother's company. She'd built it from nothing 12 years earlier, birthday parties, small weddings, corporate lunches, slowly scaling up through discipline and reputation. 15 employees, around $800,000 in annual revenue, a respectable business. Our worlds had never overlapped. I lived in boardrooms and data centers. She lived behind buffet lines and event schedules. But the Business Excellence Awards were big enough to require a serious catering operation. I considered calling her, warning her. And saying what, exactly? Hi Mom, that startup you've spent 8 years calling a mistake, it's worth $890 million. See you at work. No. Better to let the night do the talking. February 14th arrived cold and clear. I put on my tux, Tom Ford, perfectly tailored, quietly expensive. Dev met me outside my building. He was in a tux too. We looked like we knew where we belonged. Nervous? He asked in the Uber. Should I be? Your mom's working the event. I know. You going to tell her? No. He nodded. That's brave. It's not bravery, I said. I'm just done explaining myself. We arrived at the Fairmont at 6:30 p.m. The grand ballroom glowed, crystal chandeliers, white linen tables, name cards perfectly aligned. I found my seat. Table 7, front section. Dev and I sat as the rest of the table filled, a biotech CEO, a venture capitalist, a TechCrunch journalist, a Berkeley professor, an investor I'd met years earlier. They all recognized me. Marcus Chin, Data Stream AI, that AWS deal was incredible. You're the favorite tonight. I smiled, made polite conversation. At 6:50, I saw her. My mother. Black and white catering uniform, hair pulled back, clipboard in hand, calm, focused, professional. She hadn't noticed me. She moved through the room the way good caterers do, present but unseen. She stopped at table 12, placing appetizer plates, smoked salmon, arugula, lemon wedges. 3 tables away from me. The lights dimmed. The MC took the stage. Welcome to the Bay Area Business Excellence Awards. Dinner passed in a blur. Salmon, salad, bread. My mother moved table to table, refilling glasses, checking details, invisible. At 7:45, plates were cleared, dessert arrived. At 8 o'clock, the awards began. Biotechnology, sustainability, polite applause, gracious speeches. My heart started pounding when the MC returned. And now, our most prestigious honor, the Bay Area Entrepreneur of the Year Award. Nominees were announced. My name was fourth. Marcus Chin, founder and CEO of DataStream AI. Applause. My table clapped hard. My mother was pouring water at table 12. She didn't react. And the winner is. A pause. Marcus Chin, DataStream AI. The room erupted. I stood and adjusted my jacket. As I walked toward the stage, I passed table 12. My mother looked up. She froze. Then she saw the screen behind the stage, my photo filling it. Marcus Chin, founder CEO, DataStream AI, company valuation, $890 million. Her face drained of color, the water pitcher slipped from her hand, shattered against the floor, glass and water spread across the carpet. Gasps, movement, staff rushed in. She didn't move. I kept walking. Onto the stage. The award was heavy in my hands, cool crystal catching the light. Would you like to say a few words? The MC asked. I took the microphone. I looked out at the crowd, and then at her. Thank you. 8 years ago, my co-founder Dev Sharma and I started DataStream AI in a garage with $30,000, no salaries, no health insurance, and an idea most people thought was irresponsible. Soft laughter. We were told to get real jobs, stable jobs, jobs with benefits and predictable futures. I paused. But we believed that systems shouldn't fail before they're fixed. That prediction is better than reaction. My mother was crying. Today, DataStream AI serves 47 Fortune 500 companies. We've prevented over 8,000 critical system failures, saved our clients more than $300 million, and we employ 189 people across 4 countries. I smiled. And we're just getting started. The room stood and applauded. This award isn't just mine, I said. It belongs to everyone who believed in this vision when it was just 2 guys in a garage. To every employee who chose uncertainty over safety. To every client who trusted us with their systems. And to my co-founder, Dev, who's been with me since day one. I lifted the crystal. And to everyone who doubted us, thank you. You made us better. The room rose in a standing ovation. I stepped off stage, set the award on the table. Dev pulled me into a hug. That, he said, was perfect. Hands reached for mine. Congratulations, business cards, promises to follow up. I looked toward table 12. My mother was gone. I found her 20 minutes later in a narrow kitchen corridor. She sat on a metal folding chair, shoulders shaking. One of her employees hovered nearby. Mrs. Chin, are you okay? I'm fine, she said quietly. Just, give me a minute. The employee saw me approach. Sir, this area is for catering staff. It's okay, I said, she's my mother. The employee froze, glanced between us, then retreated. I sat beside her. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, she whispered, 890 million? Yes, 8 years. And you never told us. No. She turned to me. Her makeup was streaked. She looked older, worn down. Why? She asked. Why didn't you tell us? I exhaled. Because it wouldn't have mattered, not at first. If I'd told you, back in the garage with $30,000, that we were building $1 billion company, you would have thought I was delusional. When we raised $3 million, you would have said it wasn't real money. When we hit $10 million in revenue, you would have said we weren't profitable yet. I paused. There was always going to be a reason it wasn't enough. She said nothing. So I stopped trying to prove myself. That's not fair, she whispered. Isn't it? I said gently. For 8 years, you told me to get a real job, compared me to Amanda, treated my company like a phase I needed to outgrow because you didn't understand it. I lowered my voice. You didn't try to understand. You never asked what we were building, never asked to see the office, never asked why I believed in it. You decided I was failing and waited for me to admit you were right. Her shoulders collapsed. She was crying openly now. We were worried about you. I know, but your worry felt like judgment, and your concern felt like disappointment. After a while, staying away hurt less than constantly feeling like I was letting you down. You were never failing us, she said. That's not how it felt. Silence settled between us. Applause drifted faintly from the ballroom. I'm sorry, she said at last. We were wrong. About the startup. About you. She gestured toward the ballroom. You built something incredible, and we couldn't see it. You couldn't see it because you weren't looking, I said. You had one definition of success, and I didn't fit it. What can I do? She asked. How do I fix this? I thought of missed dinners, short calls, years of distance. Start by asking about my life, I said, not comparing it to Amanda's, not worrying about safety, just asking what I'm working on, what excites me. I met her eyes. Be curious about who I am, not disappointed about who I'm not. She nodded. I can do that. And stop believing there's only one right path. Amanda's path is valid. Mine is too. You're right, she said. Will you come to dinner next Sunday? Can we try again? I hesitated, then nodded. Okay, Sunday. She hugged me tightly, the kind of hug I hadn't felt in years. I'm proud of you, she said. I should have said it a long time ago. Thank you. After a beat, she asked, Can I see your office sometime? I want to understand. I'd like that, I said. Sunday dinner was awkward. Amanda hugged me at the door. I saw the speech. It was incredible. Dad shook my hand, formal, nervous. We need to talk. In the living room, Dad spoke first. I read about your company, Forbes, TechCrunch, the Journal. He looked at me. Why didn't you tell us? Because you weren't listening, I said, and eventually, I stopped wanting to share. That's fair, he said quietly. We weren't. Amanda added, I never thought you were failing, I just didn't know how to push back. I know, I said, I don't blame you. Dinner came and went. Then Dad said, Tell us about DataStream, really? So I did. I told them everything, what we built, who we served, why it mattered, where it was going. They listened. I wish we'd known, Dad said. We're knowing now, I said. 3 months later, I brought them to the office. 19th floor, glass walls, our logo in steel. This is where you work? Mom asked. Most days. Dad stared out at the bay. It's beautiful. This is the war room, I said later. Every screen is a company trusting us not to fail. He nodded slowly. Remarkable. Amanda asked, Are you happy? Yes, I said. This work matters. That's all we ever wanted, Mom said. We just misunderstood. 6 months later, we rang the opening bell at Nasdaq. Market cap, $4, 2 billion. My family cheered louder than anyone. A reporter asked, What does this moment mean to you? I looked at them. It means trusting yourself when no one else does can change everything. Later, Dad raised his glass. To Marcus, who knew all along. Mom squeezed my hand. I'm proud of who you are, not just what you built. For the first time in 8 years, I felt seen. Not as a failure, but as someone who built something real. Something lasting. Something that mattered.